Ahoy lads, today we're going to be talking about the new Gates of Hell DLC. Bruv, they've added the Commonwealth, bruv. This shit's fucking knockers, mate. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you, bro. I'm not playing the game called Ostfront to play as the fucking British. Okay? This game is about the Germans and the Russians, okay? This is not about, the fucking British or the Americans. Really, it's not even about fucking Finland either. But I should really hold my fucking mouth, though, because, the Finnish were technically in the Eastern, but really it was more like the North, okay? But yeah, I want to talk about this game because I've been playing it a fuck ton. And this genuinely might be one of the best World War II games, best, real-time strategy games I think I've ever played, I think I've ever touched. So, and there's a lot to go over here, so this video might be long, but let's talk about one of my favorite things about this game, and that is the vehicles, the tanks, all that shit. It's amazing. There's just so many fucking vehicles in this game. Jeeps, cars. You can even get shit like this, where it's just like a fucking this shit. You can literally just have like a fucking roving bomb, literally. Motorized infantry. Then you get more like the cars, like a technical, right? A fucking Jeep with a gun on it. And you get more into the armored cars. And this is where the shit is, bro. The armored cars. So many different types of armored cars, all with their own different unique abilities and attributes that perform differently all the time on the battlefield. I mean, sure, some of them are not as different. Like, you could say, this vehicle is basically the same as this vehicle. The only difference is that this one is just better and this one just sucks, right? Like, this one doesn't have tracks, so it can't rotate. This one does, but it doesn't have good armor. And then this one has good armor and all that shit. And some people, they might claim that this is a bad thing. The vehicles not having that much differences with other vehicles. But here's what makes it good is the economy, right? So you can get cheaper vehicles that basically do the same thing as the more expensive vehicles, but they're going to die more, they're going to break more, and they're just not as reliable. But it leaves a little bit of wiggle room, because say in case you don't have the money, you don't have the manpower to get those expensive vehicles, if you know how to play well, you can use those shitty vehicles to your own advantage. But when it comes to differences that actually matter, some of the more expensive vehicles will actually let you rotate the MG in a full 360 degree, while the shitty ones will just only make you stare forward, and also they can't rotate because they don't got tracks. So there is subtle differences to these vehicles that actually change the way they actually play. This one can take down tanks or small vehicles. This one right here has a straight up A gun attached to it. There's so much shit to pick from. And this list, it just keeps going. Look how much shit there is, bruh. Look at all these fucking tanks. It's almost like War Thunder levels, and every faction has this. And it gets even crazier with every update that they do. They added the British, and the British just have insane amount of tanks, bro. Although I don't really fuck with the British in this game. I don't think they're good. Fucking list is so big it can't even load in all at the same time. Look at these tanks, bro. You get this one, Crusaders, Stuart Henrys, Stuart 3s, Stuart 4s, Stuart 5 reset. Some of these tanks weren't even fucking used. It's just great. There's just so much replayability with these vehicles. They're truly my favorite thing about the game. If I could say anything else, the vehicles, using a tank, actually, when you play video games, bro, you never really get the sense of how these wars were actually fought, where the tanks would go in as sort of to help the infantry. You never advance infantry without tanks to attack a position. These tanks work exactly like how you would think they would work in real life, but they're also killable. The tanks are good for clearing out areas or softening up the enemy to get in, but they can be taken out if they are not used properly or poorly managed. So it makes for very interesting gameplay. Sometimes very even frustrating too when you're attacking a good enemy, but so much fun. These tanks are so much fun. If you're a tank guy, if you're a tank nerd or whatever, you need to get this game. This game has literally every single fucking tank you conceive of, flamethrower tanks. They in the British update, they added the fucking trap tanks, where basically get mines out with these like rotating spike things. It's amazing. This also might be a problem for some people because there's so much tanks and there's so much vehicles, and you won't really know the differences between them if you don't use them. So they might get lost. They might not understand how it all works. But for people that, like me, who are very interested in the history, this is very awesome. Like, you get to see all these different types of vehicles. You get to see how they work, how they could have worked in real life. It's very cool. You get to learn something too. You know, the vehicles, the tanks, they're fucking awesome. They're a straight 10 out of 10. Enough said about the tanks, though. If I had to go over every single tank in this video, it would be 8 hours long. But same goes for the infantry, because there's so much fucking infantry in this game. They all do different shit. They all have their specific uses, and they're amazing. Like, honestly, infantry's half this game for me. They're fucking cool. And yeah, let's just go over them real quick. So here are the infantry, right? So there's a lot of different infantry in this game that you can use. Just so much. First, here we got the officer. The officer is basically sort of like a boost to your squad. So you can get like a regular old, you know, Ostrupen squad, where they're just basic riflemen with one guy with a SMG and MP40, and you can attach an officer. And what an officer does, it increases the range that the squad has. So, and also they have binoculars. So say if you need to attack an enemy position, you can use these officers, equip them with the binoculars, and see the enemy position before they can see you. And they're super fucking useful. A lot of differences between the squads, though, are their health and stamina. Also the speed and their mechanic skill, like how fast can they repair vehicles, how good they are at different, you know, weapons, you know, RPGs, rifles, pistols, SMGs, machine guns, how accurate they are with them. You know, all these things play when you actually put them in the game and you put them up against different types of infantry. And there's just so many, like, just so much shit. Luftwaffe Jaeger squads, Grenadier squads, heavy Volks Grenadier squads, Sturm Volks Grenadier squads, and they all have different shit. Some of them might have different rifles. Maybe this one offers a little bit more firepower. 2 SCG 44s, 2 MP 40s, and 3 semi-automatic rifles with 2 fucking RPG guys. These guys are very good at, you know, basically storming a position, taking out vehicles, but there's not a lot of them. They you know, they can't overwhelm an enemy that's greater than them. You would have to use a rifle squad. There's more rifle squads than there is, you know, the Volkssturm Grenadier squads. There's less people. And so all of these play differently. You can also get just motorized rifle squads. So say if you don't want to just spawn them in as just this, you can spawn them in a vehicle and you can just drive them to the objective. But there is, you know, pros and cons to this because, well, if you drive them in the vehicle and they get shot or say they get blown up, you just lost a whole fucking squad of people. So this isn't really my favorite way of getting people to an objective because it's very risky. You would need to have armored support out the wazoo in order for these people to survive. But it is a very cool gameplay mechanic that if you were smart about, you could use this and it would be very fucking awesome. And they also give you, technically, they give you a whole squad and a vehicle, and it's pretty cheap. You also have just engineer squads. You have anti-tank squads, Panzerschreck, AP miners, AT miners, flamethrowers, snipers, tank crews. You even got, like, you know, ammo infantry, basically supply infantry, all this different types of shit. And the infantry, they are different throughout every single faction. Yeah, I mean, sure, you do have your standard, you know, motorized infantry. You got your, you know, rifle squads, but when you're playing as the Russians compared to the Germans, it's very different. The Germans get way better AT equipment than the Russians do, especially early game. And, you know, you have to play them differently. You have to get them closer to the tanks, which for the Germans, you don't really have to get them closer to the tanks. I mean, sometimes you do, but not really, you know. Also, there's just so much different variabilities to it. But basically, yeah, German infantry, they're my favorite infantry. I feel like they play the best out of all the other infantry in the game. They're just very fun to use. They feel a lot more tactical. When you're playing as the Russian infantry, it literally feels like that one scene in Enemy at the Gates where you just basically throw them in and they all just die, but they get the one squad through. But, you know, Russian infantry does have its moments when it actually works, when you get the right infantry. A lot of the Russian infantry are bad, and for historical purposes, really, you get the penal battalion squad, just basically just a bunch of fucking prisoners. They don't get a lot of good guns. 3 of them get PPSHs, which is pretty good, but most of them just get Mosin Nagants, and they're very not accurate, as you can see right here, not very accurate with their guns compared to the German infantry. But you can get different types of squads. You can get veteran partisan squads. A lot of the Russian infantry is very cheap squads, but a lot of manpower. So even if a lot of people die, you're still able to get a few soldiers through to, you know, finish the job. And that's what they're really good for. Recon squads, yep, you know. They even add the NKVD sapper squads, the fucking, like, Russian CIA from that time. But yeah, I love this shit, man. The Russian tanks too, like they have like the fucking things that shoot the missiles, bro. Those are so fun to fucking use. They also have shitty tanks too, like this fucking thing. This fucking thing's ugly as shit. And now we just went over the infantry, the tanks. We are going to be talking about the support. Okay, now support can range from, you know, artillery to you know, artillery commanders, which is the guys that shoot the flares. MG, you know, just emplacements basically. And if you do not know how to use this shit, you will not do good in this game. Support is so fucking important. Just like everything else in this game, it practically will make or break some wins for you playing conquest mode. I mean, support is so fucking vital. You don't really think it because they're in placements. You know they're useful in defense, but when you're on the attack, they're almost just as useful. I mean, they just add so much more firepower, so much more strength to your army in this game. Like, having a mortar team on the attack is so fucking vital because it can, like, soften the enemy. It can make them suppressed. It's so fucking useful. You need a mortar team on the attack more than you need an MG team, or sometimes you need a mortar team more than you even need a tank, and that's saying something. Also, just simple AT cannons or guns or whatever you want to call them, so fucking vital. You need to bring these in. Like, it's an absolute fucking must. If you don't bring these in, you're basically just like giving up and just giving the win to the enemy team. Like, honestly, like, without this AT gun right here, that guy would have just came in and just killed all my fucking troops. But because I have the AT cannon, the AT gun, I fucking destroy it. They lose vehicle support. Now all they have to do is rely on their fucking their infantry, and they're basically cooked. There's no winning. Honestly though, you know, this video is cutting it super fucking long. It's probably the longest video I've ever made. There's so much more that I can talk about with this game. There's so much vehicles, there's so much infantry, there's so much game modes. The modding scene is crazy. You can get so many mods for this game. Cold War mods, different World War II factions. There's a fucking Warhammer mod. I mean, this game, it's infinite, bro. This game is the best RTT game. There's so much replayability. There's so much tactics that you have to use in this game. It's amazing. I love this game. It's a 10 out of 10 video game. Everyone should be playing this game, or at least everyone should at least try it. If you're into games like I don't know, like Total War or Mountain Blade, or any game that has to deal with, like, you know, soldiers, you know, battles, any of that, like tactic games, you need to get this game. This game's a must-have. It's one of the best games out there in this genre. It's fucking amazing.